We are live, ladies and gentlemen. So let's do this. Well, that is right. It is another Monday night, and it is time to live stream and talk some comic books on what was a big day in the National Football League. Trust me, I'll be talking plenty about that on multiple shows and podcasts. How about talking some comic books tonight, everyone? And certainly appreciate all those for joining, for watching, for doing all those YouTube things like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you never miss a vid. I am celebrating and continuing the celebration for Suimmortal, which is now live on Kickstarter. You can get your copy. Just go to Kickstarter and go check out Suimmortal. I've got a link in the description of this video. So if you have not backed the campaign, please help us reach our goal. We have a $2,000 goal. We're around $700 now. With 2 weeks to go, we got some work to get there. So please help out. Please go to Kickstarter and get your copy of Suimmortal ordered so that the campaign can be fulfilled and that we can get the books to you. Included is this cover B there as well. This cover B is from watercolor artist Mike Lorenzo, who I think just texted me right now because Mike should be joining this show here in just a little bit. He says, cool. So there you go. Mike Lorenzo will be joining me to talk about that as well and to talk about Suimmortal crowdfunding and just collecting in general. I find myself every day, doing more in terms of preparing for products with this company, with Smokin Gun Comics, because for a long time, for 30 years, I've had these ideas in my head. And well, you don't need a project, you need a product. And I can't remember exactly who said that. I think it was Jake Parker on YouTube. So shout out Jake Parker on his YouTube channel. I don't know him, but I watch his YouTube channel about creators and creativity and all that kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, you don't need a product, or excuse me, you don't need a project, you need a product. And speaking of products, man alive, this dude's one of my favorite right here. He's Mike Lorenzo. He's artist extraordinaire. Oh my God, there's your Sentinel. And
What's up?
This I've actually never seen those. I think maybe you might have shown me pictures of them. Is that right?
Yeah, we've talked about the HasLab stuff that Marvel's come out with. It's so much fun. It's such a weight, but it pairs up awesome with some of the display stuff when you get some of these slabs. So there's Silver Surfer and Galactus on one side, and then the Sentinel with Jubilee and Wolverine on the other.
Nice. Well, I was just showing off to everyone your
Nice.
beautiful cover B watercolors of Suimmortal here.
Yeah, man.
And this is a project I remember telling you about it and asking if you could do a cover for me, and you were like, "Yeah, what's the idea?" And you like took this idea and then ran with it of Suimmortal performing seppuku at the moment that he's cursed to live as many lives as he's taken. And you like highlighted, you captured the moment brilliantly, Mike. So let's talk about your art. Let's talk about your history as an artist and just why the watercolor medium is something that you're so drawn to and gravitate towards.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been an artist since, I don't know, 2, 3. They have pictures of me drawing when I was really young. And watercolor was something I played with in high school in art classes, and then I gave up. It's just too hard. So then I tried, like mechanical pencil and graphite, and I liked that because I had more control over it. And then I went to college, and I got into charcoal, and I did really good with that. And then, it was nice, but I still wanted to play with brushes. And then kind of going into the industry of graphic design, everything's on a computer, like Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign. It's definitely a good tool, but I wanted to play with something handcrafted, and I started watercolor again. And before you know it, the thing that tore me apart and was so difficult, it started to bend to my will a little bit, and just had to let it flow and then kind of bring in the tightness of the detail. And one of my good buddies, Chad, he was helping me put together a small Comic-Con in Cheyenne. and we just did buckets, just Star Wars buckets. That's all we did. It was the bucket
Okay.
series. And then I started trying to do portraits, and I've always loved drawing faces and eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And then that turned into start doing some of the portraits that we've done. And now we get to go to Comic-Cons and talk to, fellow geeks about movies, shows, comic books, Star Wars, Marvel, DC. It's a great time to be a nerd, to be a geek. We're all out there just enjoying it, and we can have a place to talk about everything.
Yeah, I've got so many questions about your art and just your background. We're gonna get into the collecting part and how I don't know if I caused it of your slab addiction.
Yes.
But I may be responsible. That's a little bit later on, Mike. And,
Nice.
and I appreciate
All
your
right.
time here, brother, and appreciate all of your work. But the watercolor medium and just the patience that was required, it pays off because I've seen you interact with so many fans at Comic-Con. So I first have to know, before we talk about fan interaction, just like, what was your first larger con than Cheyenne? Like, what kind of butterflies did you have? And then like the fan reaction, because your booth, whether it's Denver Comic-Con or I know you've been to Salt Lake, you've been all over this country. Like, it's one of the most popular that people love to stop by and to talk shop, to buy some great art from you. And I know you are very humble. You are very kind. You're one of the nicest people that I know.
Thanks, man.
But man alive, it has to mean a lot to you when so many people have responded so positively to your art.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that comes with, you can't BS someone who has passion. And if someone comes up to you and they start talking anything Star Wars, and then you reference something completely different in a different detail, they're like, okay, this guy's a true fan. Same with, Marvel, they may talk about something in the MCU, but you pull where that came from in a comic book or an issue, and they know. When it came to like the biggest show that we did, that first one, I think Colorado Springs was kind of like a jump point, because Cheyenne was really tiny. It was small, but it was great because we didn't know what we were doing. We had no chance of knowing what we were doing. And in fact, the funny thing is, like the next aisle over, it was so small. Billy D. Lando himself was right there. So I get to go talk to Lando in between dead times.
Billy D was at Cheyenne?
Yeah, I got a picture. I got one of my art pieces signed by him. The one of Lando. That was my first one.
Wow.
But Colorado Springs is when a lot more people. What's up, Jedi Sith Lord? Colorado Springs is when we started getting a little bit more of a fan base, and it's so great. I can't thank anyone more than I have before. But truly, it's so great just that people want to put my art on the walls. But moreover, at Comic-Cons now, we kind of serve as a home base for some people, which is really cool. People will come back and show me their autographs they got with nothing to do with my art, or they'll show me their collection of pins they've added to, or they'll come speak to me about action figures, and we'll go, I could talk all day action figures. Or they'll bring me a key they got in like a run that they're trying to build it. And that's great. And on top of that, we get to talk to a lot of people who maybe don't really like to interact, or they're not, very, personable, but then you unlock something in them and they just talk for days with you. And that's what's great. And plus we give free art and we bring action figures to give to kids, and you see them light up. There's so many things that you can take from a Comic-Con that, it's very rewarding for me and my boys who helped me with the con, and it's just very rewarding. It's just something I love to do.
Yeah, you've got quite the production and quite the setup at the Comic-Cons as well. Large setup and tons of great art, very eye-catching, and just something I think everyone can appreciate, right? Yeah. Because it is art, eye of the beholder, and all that kind of stuff. But your painting, your works are so beautiful. Chris is saying he got his Anakin watercolor framed. Nice. Yeah, he's got the original Anakin watercolor from you. Like,
awesome. Hell yeah!
It's one of those things where I think great art can be appreciated by all, and that's why your booth is so popular, because people of all fandoms like fall in love with the work that you do.
Yeah, and for the fans out there at Denver, we're working on a clicker right now from Last of Us, a Wednesday Addams. So, we got some new stuff coming too, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, and you can be like, not necessarily topical, but it's like how South Park is made in 7 days.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people know that, but like they get together and
Yeah.
they like starting on Monday, they have it ready and it airs on Sunday. That's
Yeah.
why everything's so topical and on point. So the fact that you're going to do a Wednesday Adams, I mean, that just makes sense for Comic-Con. The fact you're going to do some Last of Us, like as a comic book collector, I've seen that Dark Horse issue just explode. Like you get it for
I bet
$200
you
raw.
did.
You're lucky if you can find it for 200 raw. It used to be like a, $50 book, which is still pricey, but
Yeah.
like that show and the popularity with it hitting, now you can create art around that and you can get people excited and they can start talking to you at cons. Like it's just the circle of life, if you will.
Yeah. And it'll be great because people will come up to me with facts about, the Addams family that maybe I don't know, or their favorite Wednesday, or they'll come up to me and talk about their favorite part of part 1 or part 2 of Last of Us, or who they hate the most, who they love. And who knows, it'll just explode. And the clicker is going to it lends itself so well to the watercolors. And so does Wednesday with that expression and those eyes that are captivating. The watercolor is just easy for that type of subject matter anyway. So yeah, it's fun. And it's cool too. A lot of people on Instagram, they'll instant message me and they're like, you should try this. We had a guy come up to me on Instagram and say, wants me to try the Undertaker. I was like, man, that's a good idea too. So
okay, yeah.
There's a list where we have a list. I don't have enough time. I'm lucky enough to be busy with everything else that I don't have too much time.
Yeah. So you got to pick and choose, but I'm sure you get lots of lists. But that's the thing, like you're pulling from your own fandom and your own passion.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what makes it like it is work. Obviously, with your work, it is work. It takes work and a lot of talent to do that. But when it's something you love, then it's fun.
Yeah, and it's a great escape. A cool story was when I did the Vader with the torn away mask from Obi-Wan series. I just had the series go 1 through 6 as I was painting it. So I wasn't watching, but I was listening to it, and that's, you kind of hear it in your head. And then once that ended, I just switched it over to, Revenge of the Sith. And that movie was playing as I was finishing up. So like, it's kind of fun that I get to run these series as I'm painting as well.
Right. And that's part of the creative process. I know that if I ever get a chance to draw, I usually just have some like lo-fi hip hop or something, like something very chill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even though I'm a metalhead, like I try to go for a chill, something calming, because like art to me is calming. It's one of the things that's it's a distraction. It's peaceful. It's just something you like. I have to get solely focused, and I'm not comfortable with a whole lot of people watching me draw, although that does happen at Comic-Cons where people ask you to draw something, and so you're drawing in front of people, and that's something I'm getting used to. How about you with people looking over your shoulder?
I'm lucky enough that that doesn't bother me because, again, like this is all just because I've been blessed enough with this talent. I've been drawing in classes for, since I was in first grade. So kids would always kind of watch and you just kind of get used to it. But when you mess up, you're like, okay, I'm going to start over. And they're like, why? It's not going the right route.
Right.
I got to start and bring it over.
Right.
But sometimes what's really fun, and you were there for one of the experiences, if you just draw a doodle in front of a kid, their eyes, they just start to like, and that's what's cool, is that you can make a little kid's day just by drawing them a little doodle on a piece of cardboard, and they love it.
Right. They absolutely love it. He is Mike Lorenzo, artist extraordinaire. Now you can follow him. Where's the best place to follow you? Like, is it you're on Twitter, of course, at Mike Lorenzo Art.
Yeah.
Is it Instagram?
Instagram's best.
Okay.
I have a Facebook page, but I don't really use it that much. I'm not on Facebook too much, but I'm pretty good on Instagram. Everyone who contacts me on there, I'll respond pretty quick. And then that's where all the new art will go up and the new videos.
And it's Mike Lorenzo Art as well on Instagram.
Yeah, just Mike Lorenzo Art. You'll see it once you open it. You'll start seeing some of the watercolor stuff, but I'll update with like other stuff I do for work, or when I'm lucky enough to travel, I put some stuff there. But the sketches and the time lapses are about to start going up on Instagram here in the next few weeks.
Who inspired you? I always ask, like, who's an underrated artist? And my answer is always Jim Aparo, because I love Jim Aparo's Batman. That's my Batman from Death in the Family from the 90s. Like, that's my Batman, was Jim Aparo's Batman. I love Neil Adams, of course, and anyone else that has gone through and drawn Batman. But for me, Jim Aparo is that. Not as many people talk about him as I believe should. But for you, Mike, what artists inspired you, not only through color, but penciling, everything?
So it's such an obvious like stan. I'm a McFarlane junkie. I'm a Jim Lee junkie.
Yeah.
When I really got into comic collecting in the early 90s, I was picking up Spider-Mans and Wolverines and X-Men, and I just crossed paths with those guys. I've loved Spider-Man since, I mean, probably, I think I have a birthday cake from when I was like 3. Love
Holy
Spider-Man and
cow.
Hulk. And I think it just, those were the artists I came across. And so you just follow the greats, but then that unlocked a bunch of other stuff. Cause then I started looking at other books and, you know, Jim Starlin, all those guys. So then Image took off and I was a huge Savage Dragon. I mean, I was buying Wildcats. I was buying Wetworks. I mean, all of that.
Yeah.
All of it. So yeah, it wasn't really underrated. It was just seeing how great they were. I mean, I even like, as much as he can't draw feet, I still like Rob Liefeld.
Yeah, I dig Rob Liefeld. I know people give him a lot of grief. It's like, whatever, man. He like helped shape comics. I watch The Image Revolution, which is a documentary, probably once a month.
Really?
Yeah,
Nice.
every other month at least, because like they were our rock stars in the 90s. You know, they were McFarlane, Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, had the 501 commercial. Like, yeah, that's something we all remember during that time. And you remember that inspiration of like, man, I kind of want to do that as well.
Yeah.
So what was the first thing before we get into slabs and statues?
Okay.
What was the first inclination for you to sell your art professionally? You know, the Cheyenne Comic-Con, yes, but like, what was it? Someone telling you like, hey, you need to sell this, or what? Like, what prompted you to be like, you know what, I can do this and I can sell it and people will respond to it?
You know, I've sold art randomly. Like people would pay me they would commission me to do different things. And it was like landscapes. Like one commission piece, a really nice one is like one of the holes at Augusta. I'm not a golf guy, but it was a beautiful piece. And we always had like a demand, and I was always scared to do Comic Cons. I think I was just intimidated to think I couldn't even make it. So I applied, and they always turned me down because I never had like a booth or a website. So one day I just kind of sketched a logo, and I was like, well, you know, let's just try it. And that's when, like I said, I started drawing those buckets up with mixed media and watercolor. And then one of my friends from work, she said, try a smaller con, just anyone. And we did, and we really enjoyed it, and we learned a lot. And a lot of the people who I've mentored to get them into small cons, I said, just get into anything. I mean, even if it's like, there's a lot of great smaller cons, even in the Denver metro area, that you'll still get lessons that maybe you didn't see coming, and you improve and you build, and then you build your art, and people will give you feedback, and it just keeps growing. So, you know, if we're lucky, we're gonna shoot for the stars in 24. We're gonna go for San Diego again. We were that close in 2020, but something happened. So we were, I think we were like a few spots away that if some people would have canceled, we were in. And
wow.
Yeah. So, but we still do Denver every year. We're doing it again this year, and we'll see what else comes down the pipe. But yeah, you just got to keep going.
Yeah, start and keep going and chase your dream at Mike Lorenzo Art. Now, slabs. First off, your wife doesn't hate me, right? Because I got you into collecting slabs. No, we're good. We're good at the Lorenzo household.
She's good. She loves you.
Okay. All right. Good.
She supports my hobbies. She adopted what I say to others. Just love what you love, man. That's all it's about.
Yeah, well, you're covering up that giant size X-Men behind you.
Oh,
I
yeah,
remember
that.
A part of that, back and forth with you at All Seas Con, and you were like, should I? And we looked up the fair market value, like it was a good deal.
Yep.
And now that price has gone up, just like we said it would. Like, and there's certain keys, there's certain grails. Now I see behind you, you've got first Deadpool, first Cable, first Surfer.
Yep.
Then you have Giant Size X-Men, and then what is that? First Phoenix,
Yep.
Dark Phoenix.
First Phoenix.
Okay, First Phoenix, and then of course First Miles Morales, and some other
Yep.
collections underneath there. So what is it about slab collecting? Like, what gave you the bug? I was there when you got the bug, but
Yeah.
for our viewing audience, and I apologize, Mike, I said, give me like 10 minutes, and well, you've been on with me for about 20, but anyway, so
We'll
like
talk all night.
yeah, well, we can for sure. Like, what was it about slab collecting of those comics that you really enjoyed, especially because, you know, collecting in the 90s, well, we didn't have any slabs.
Yeah. I think because it keeps it freezes it in time, you know, like we all have our long boxes full of keys that we are really happy with. And I think one of my very first slabs was ASM 300. That was my first one. And that's just because it was, again, that time in that era that we grew up in. And that was one of the huge keys. And to just have it preserved, you know, I have like raw copies of different books, but like that one, it just looked good. It presented well, you know. And then as an action figure collector, I was buying the figure that goes along with that slab. So it just kind of took off from there. But then I only go for those keys and those slabs that mean the most to me. I mean, I don't have a ton of slabs. You've seen almost all of them behind me except for maybe 3.
Okay.
But again, it just way it just displays. It's all it is. And it's kind of a fun thing too, because you put your sights on it and it forces you to be disciplined. So instead of just buying that slab, you'll go on a hunt for action figures, or you'll go into a comic book store and you look for keys and you're like, oh, that's a good key. It's $100. But if I don't spend that $100, that gets me one rung higher to that next big slab.
Right.
You know, and then you start budgeting, you start stashing money away. Then you go to a Comic-Con, I went to RetroCon, and I think it was last year. And a guy had New Mutants 98 and 87. So we start talking, we negotiated if I bought them both, and I got a killer deal out of it. And I was like so excited because, you know, those 2 keys, you know, especially with that header, that artist, you know, and I have all the books in between, just not slabbed, but just part of that run.
Right.
It's that thing. You just you slowly climb that mountain. It's like hiking a 14er. You got to take it step by step. And when you get it, you display it and you stare at it before you go to bed every day. And
and you love it. Yeah, and you love it. You love the slabs there. And 87 is great because it's both Liefeld and McFarlane. It's inked by McFarlane.
Yeah, it's on that little signature part too.
Yep. So that's a cool part of it there as well. Now, Chris in the chat room asks, what action figures do you normally collect? You and I don't talk a bunch of figures, mainly because I'm not an action figures guy, but I know Chris is. So what about you, brother?
Chris, so I collect Marvel Legends, Black Series, Hot Toys, some of the NECA horror stuff I really enjoy, but usually stay in that range. A lot of 1/6 scale. Those are like the higher end stuff that you have to budget for. But if there's a certain figure at the 1/12 scale, the 6-inch figures, then I'll buy it. Like if it's an original trilogy figure for Black Series, it usually gets me. I just spent $25 on a Wicket. It's not even worth the plastic, but it's Wicket. It's Star Wars. I have to have him.
Yeah, it's Wicket, man. Yeah. Okay. And how tall is the Wicket then? Because it can't be God.
He's maybe 3 inches.
I was gonna say they're probably like a 3 3/4 figure, but
yeah, and
in Black Series he's you know, the same size as he should be, comparatively speaking.
And he costs the same amount of money as like a Chewbacca, which makes no sense.
Need a Cecil action figure. Well, we could work on that.
We could probably kit bash one. We could find something.
How about a Suimmortal action figure? Right here you go, Mike sick. Lorenzo, the cover artist. This is cover B, available on Kickstarter now. Cover A is here as well. Ty Henderson artwork, and there you go. Suimmortal is on Kickstarter right now, and of course, Mike Lorenzo's art. This tier is for the bosses out there. So you want to be a boss, you get Suimmortal on Kickstarter. Now, before I let you out of here, and I
Yeah.
appreciate your time as always, brother. We need to hang out real soon.
Yeah, man.
I will ask you this. You've backed like the McFarlane Kickstarters,
Yeah.
right? Like you see how crowdfunding has kind of changed this industry.
Yeah.
You've known me for a long time. And it's football that brought us together, obviously,
Yeah.
like it does with most people I know. But it's like I've been talking about this stuff forever, since as
Yeah.
long as you've known me. Chris, who's in the chat room, was my college roommate. That was a while ago, Chris. We're old. So like I've been talking about all this stuff for all that time. And now with crowdfunding, like you can have a product, not a project. And I've done it a little bit differently because all of my books will be printed and in hand
Yeah.
when the Kickstarter campaign goes. A lot of Kickstarter stuff for stuff that is working in progress, and you get updates, and then in 6 months or a year you get your product. No, you support Suimmortal right now. You support Smokin Gun Comics right now. You get your books right now.
Yep.
Well, in 2 weeks when Kickstarter pays. But anyway, like you're going to get your product right away. And your cover, beautiful, beautiful cover for Suimmortal. That's this is cover A on Kickstarter. This is cover B, available only in the boss tiers. So you want to be a boss, you want Mike Lorenzo cover, you got to be a boss, you got to support Suimmortal on Kickstarter. What is it about crowdfunding that has hit in the comic book community? Because, and you had supported the action figures for Spawn. I know I have 2 of those 3 comics.
Can't point right. That guy.
Yes, I have 2 of those 3.
Okay.
I think I'm missing the silver one.
Okay.
But I have the green one. I have the red one. The green one is 9.8. The red one's 9.6.
Wow.
So I hope to find a 9.8 of that one someday, and I hope to get a silver one. But like, what is it about crowdfunding, Kickstarter, Indiegogo, whatever, crowdfunding service that you enjoy, that has kind of opened up the comic book world or the collecting world? Because obviously you don't collect just comic books, you collect action figures and statues and slabs, like and if you're a collector, you collect what you love, you find what you love, you collect what you love. And now crowdfunding, you're able to back some of your favorite creators, you're able to find indie comics that maybe you would gloss over on the shelf at your comic book store, but now you're able to browse, you're able to find and support creators. It's just opened up the world of creativity even more so, honestly, Mike. And maybe I should tell you this privately, but I'll tell it to you right here on air. Like, you should put an art book together for crowdfunding. You know what I mean? And like have a Mike Lorenzo greatest hits, maybe have some notes or something like that. I think that would be fantastic. But crowdfunding, it's something that I think has revolutionized the collectibles industry.
Well, and me and you never talked about this, but the Comic-Con stuff got started through Kickstarter for me. I didn't have the money for, all the booth supplies. I didn't have the money for, getting all the prints like from ground up. It was too big of a venture to just pull that money out of the bank or put it on a credit card. And it just allows you to kind of reach out to people and tell your story, because you could put your story up there that you kind of saying why you're doing certain things, why you're doing it this way, what's your overall goal, how your support will get them to the next goal.
Right.
If we're speaking frankly, I don't think McFarlane needs a Kickstarter to support an action figure. If I'm being frank, I only got it because it was a kick-ass Spawn figure. I wanted a kick-ass Spawn figure. Now there's a bunch out there because he kind of launched his next series of figures different from the ones in the 90s. But for artists like yourself and creators like yourself and myself as well, it just allows you to have a platform for people to kind of find you that normally wouldn't. And it also shows that you're going to pay off something. So you have someone, you give them like, all right, when we reach this level, this is what's going to happen. And people like that. And even if they take a risk, they want to back people. It doesn't take much to give someone a little bit of hope. And that's all people do in our community, whether you're in, you're in art, or whether you're in Star Wars, or you're a collector, or you're a comic book collector. We have a very strong community where everyone's going to back each other one up, especially if you have time to tell your story and let some of your personality come through. And that's where Kickstarter can be like a huge tool for a lot of people.
Yeah, you've definitely helped in the journey of Smokin Gun Comics. Again, started this, I think it was about a year ago, is when I
Yeah,
got this artwork from you. And like
yeah,
just to see the artwork done, to see this beautiful cover done by you, to read the story of Suimmortal when I first saw it in the pages, like I have no problem saying like I cried when I
it's
saw it.
cool.
I was just like, oh my God, like it's here. Like this is
Yeah,
what I've dreamed of. So yes, Suimmortal on Kickstarter. You've got your cover A, but your cover B's for the boss. And Mike Lorenzo is the boss. Mike, man, I appreciate you, man. I got a lot of love for you, my friend.
same
And
here, man.
I,
Love for
I
you, my
don't
son.
I don't invite a lot of people over to my house.
Yeah,
I'm a private person, but man, you've got the red carpet anytime you want, man. And
same
we
here,
need to
man.
hang out
Always
soon
welcome.
and have a couple cold pops or something.
Yeah, we'll do that soon when we're both in town, which I know is rough.
All right. Be good, Mike. Thanks,
All
brother.
right, buddy. Later, Cecil. Thanks, everybody.
All right, there he goes, Mike Lorenzo, ladies and gentlemen. It is the live stream going on now. Kickstarter now is where you need to go and support Suimmortal. Back the campaign. Suimmortal is here. We've got about 2 weeks to go. And as always, when I do the live streams, I got to bring on your friend and mine, Ken Sullivan, KS Productions. Hi, Ken. How's it going, man?
Hello.
How are
Can
you
you hear me now?
tonight? Yeah, I
Okay.
got you now. I got you now.
Just kicking back, watching you, watching
Okay.
Mike, good old
Yeah.
Mike.
Mike Lorenzo, man, and talking about conventions. All Seas Spring Expo is almost here. We are less than a month away, my friend.
Yeah. And I may be doing shows back to back to back to one, help promote it, but two, go and support these other shows that are in town. I mean, Mike said it earlier that, there's so many different shows in Denver. A lot I still don't know about. I make it a point to know about a lot of the shows, know when they're going on,
Right.
to help us plan our dates. We were already picked out our dates for 2024, and when we were looking for dates, and it was kind of around the same time some other cons were going on, I made it a point to reach out to those organizers and be like, hey, what are your dates for 2024? Because this is what we're looking at. It's I feel like there's more respect in the card community, like the sports card communities and stuff like that in that regards versus
Right.
a Comic-Con, an Anime Con, all these other conventions that are going around. I mean, this weekend, not this weekend, next weekend, probably going to be going to this thing called Feed the Block.
Feed the block.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a nonprofit one. I just found out we on the whim last Sunday with the family, me, my wife, and my daughter went to the flea market, just go mosey around, see if I could
Mile
find
High
some
Flea
good video
Market.
games. Yeah, Mile High Flea Market.
Nice.
It was good until the wind kicked up and like destroyed. But we went into this one of the game showers and there was a flyer for this Feed the Block and didn't say it, didn't talk about it. I just put the flyer in my pocket, and then when I got home, the ad popped up in my social media. So I reached out to them today, and like they still have open booths. So might do that if you want to join me. It's on a Sunday the 19th.
Okay.
Downtown.
We'll definitely have to keep our lines of communication open, though. But Ken, I'm afraid you have found out how much I dislike my phone because I'm like, just text me, baby, text me.
Look, I don't always call to just be like, hey buddy,
Hey, how's it going? How are you doing?
What'd you have to eat today?
You got business at hand. That's why I know when the phone ring. And trust me, I already have my phone on Do Not Disturb, so it only rings for certain people. So when you're calling, it's business. I know that.
Yeah, but it's all right.
Like, just send me a text.
That's kind of my biggest pet peeve is when I don't honestly, I really don't care who you are. We live by our phones, even more so since the blip, and the amount of people that don't pick up their phones for one reason or another. Most of the time it's good reasons. They're in the shower. They're super important, busy people that don't want to talk on the phone and they just want to text. that they don't answer the phone. It's like, God damn it. And then they're like, hey, I saw that you called. I'm like, I forget what I was calling you about now.
Right.
It was
right.
important in that right there. I need to like write this stuff down.
Right.
But no, it's something fun. I went and pulled the trigger on, just as an FYI, something you and I were talking about on the phone the other day, is going to be and that was me, Mike. That was me. That's my YouTube channel is Anthony's YouTube channel. So KS Productions followed you. I thought I already was, which was weird. But we're gonna try a sample of something that's gonna be ideally being offered in some of the future Kickstarters. Is a custom comic book stand. I pulled the trigger on the sample. Should have it here in a week or so.
Nice.
Be able to show that off. Smokin Guns comic stand.
Wow.
You know.
Wow. It sounded cool when you told me about it. I can't wait to see it in person.
I think it's gonna be really cool. It's something new. It's something different. And like Mike in the background, there's always those little trifold little things that kind of look like that hold people put their comics on, and stuff like that. So it's gonna be a really cool way to display their comic that they get from you. Display Mike Lorenzo's cover on there, all nice and pretty. After they get it graded through CBCS or whatever. After it's signed, is Mike Lorenzo art gonna, I don't know, make a guest appearance on your booth?
I will.
More on the 7th, 8th, and 9th.
I will ask Mike. He might be out of town that weekend, but I'll always ask him. And if not, I can take a stack of these to Starbucks and have them sign some with me. Mike says he's excited about this display. Yeah, it's Ken. The way you described it to me sounds pretty damn cool.
You and I were talking. It's like we wanted to bring. We're wondering that this story, we were fully funded this time with fake booze.
Yes.
And we're like, oh man, what did we do something wrong? That we're not offering enough. So that's what got really the wheels turning to what else can we offer that's not offered? Like, there's so many Kickstarters out there that just throw in junky type stuff. I mean, you can only have so many pens with logos on it. You know, you can have so many glasses with your logo on it. And my wife is a fiend for those. Any free sunglasses at expos, we have them.
Okay, you got them all. But this display will be something damn cool for collectors. Again, coming to our future campaigns, because Suimmortal is here. We got about 2 weeks left. We need about $1,300 to have it fully funded. So we got some work to do. And
I'm surprised nobody bought that original art.
Yes, the original art is up for grabs for one.
I guess
super
scratching my head.
One
scratching my head.
So we will have all that and more. You really piqued my interest on the convention scene. As someone who runs the All Seas convention, as someone who puts together and booze and guests and everything, and Mike and I were talking about his first convention experience, and it's really good because Mike helped me at All Seas when I had my first booth, and I was like, Mike, can you come help me? And so just to be sitting there with him, and he had so many people come up to him, and I just got to watch, and Biggie was there, and we got to learn, like, okay, this is what it's like. Hey, we're here. We didn't have anything. I think we might have had some prints, maybe, but we.
So you guys had like some
stickers, prints.
There's like Gravis stickers.
Yeah.
Mike had his obviously a very, very small setup compared to what he takes to cons now.
Yeah.
But oddly enough, that's one of the first cons that I started helping with.
Okay.
Was that con. Yeah, I tabled because there wasn't like a full active role, but I was helping with the artist stuff, and I got a couple of the guests and whatnot, and was running the green screen. I think that was when we had Mark Jackson there, I think.
Okay.
So I've learned a lot from going to the cons. My very first convention was during Anthony's Make-A-Wish trip. back in 2013. If people that don't know, Anthony has a condition called spinal muscular atrophy, and he was able to do his Make-A-Wish, which was meet the Green Ranger. And we did that at the Wizard World Austin Comic-Con in 2013. Great con. I mean, Shatner was there with his freaking 8 bodyguards, didn't want to talk to nobody. Lou Ferrigno was there, his sign that said, selfies are this much, headlock is extra, met Ralph Macchio. We met Stan Lee. We got into the $250 VIP question and Q&A that they had for free because it was all through Make-A-Wish and everything. So we, luckily enough, that was the one and only time we met Stan Lee. So Anthony and myself got to have that experience, before his passing. So it's Comic-Cons can bring those memories. You're sitting here, you're reminiscing, man, my first booth with Mike Lorenzo art. I remember you saying, hey, is it okay if I have this guy, Mike Lorenzo art, at my table? I was like, yeah, if you guys can fit it, sure, whatever. More
the merrier, right?
I don't know who's who. I'm very bad with artist names, putting to faces, and even now helping run the con, names with their business names and faces. So they'll come in, oh, hey, what's up, Ken? And I'm like, remind me your name.
Tell me who you are. All right.
Yeah.
But the convention scene is like you said, you can put name to the face of an artist that maybe you've been a fan of on Instagram or whatever. You've seen their work, whether it's on comics, because you guys get big name artists, you get artists that work on Garbage Pail Kids, you get Power Rangers, you get professional wrestlers, like you get football players, and these conventions like the All Seas Fan Expo that you put together, help bring fans of all sorts together. Yeah. And for me, it's always been about making those memories and stuff like that. Cause that's how my first approach of it was, we were making that memory for my son, and everything else that's what needs to happen for me. So on and so forth. But at the same time, with some of my favorite artists that I like one of my modern favorites, Kyle Hotz, love his stuff, does Marvel, DC, but David Mack, you want to talk about watercolors, beautiful,
is just amazing what watercolor, and I think Mike Lorenzo really hits it. I don't want to make him blush or anything, but he's at that level with like Peach Momoko and David Mack. I feel like there is a lot of imitators out there, but you can see if you put up a David Mack and a Michael Lorenzo art, you're not going to confuse the two, and they're the same quality, and then that's that memory. So meeting Mike and you guys really for the first time, that con, it's those small cons that you can have those interactions with, that more personal interactions with, that we talk about all the time, that makes those memories even more memorable. Because who knows, Mike can easily blow up like Clayton Crane or Peach Momoko or Jim Lee. No one really cared about Jim Lee until the one thing he did really blew up, and then now everybody wants him for every Comic-Con, right? It's different when you're talking about Todd McFarlane or Larry Hama, where they are creators of something that did take off. These are artists that were inspired by these people that then took off. So I think Mike Lorenzo art is definitely going to go places. We got friends, Matt Campbell, Matt Gonzalez, a lot of the artists that are going to be at the All Seas Fan Expo have that talent. Heidi Davis, that's going to be helping you with the familiars.
Right.
So, I mean, it's just fun. Honestly, it's fun. This show is going to be great. The next one's even going to be even better. And next year, where we have our dates already set, we're going to be in the 25,000 square foot, same place. We're going to be there at the Arapahoe County Fairgrounds for the foreseeable future. That is just going to be a huge blast. And Cecil Lammey, you got access to the green room because you're a guest.
Very good. Very
Talk
good.
about some free coffee.
Exactly. I'll bring something to spike that coffee with, but it is the All Seas Fan Expo. It is Arapahoe County Fairgrounds. It's the 7th of April, right?
7th, 8th, 9th.
7th, 8th, and 9th of April. And how about admission?
Free
admission. Free admission to a great, and what did you say, 25,000 square feet?
25,000 square feet. In fact, found out today that the fire marshal approved my layout. I honestly didn't know he was approving my layout. Okay. I just thought he was approving us to have our food trucks out there. And they're like, oh, yeah, the layout got approved. It's like, well, that's good.
We thank you for that. All Seas Fan Expo, April 7th, 8th, and 9th, Arapahoe County Fairgrounds. I will be there. Ken will be running the show. Ken, appreciate you, man. I will pick up next time.
Oh, it's not a big deal. I don't think you hate me or anything. I'm not like that.
No. My phone rings when you call. That means you're a real one. All right, buddy. Be good.
And I've been in your house more than once.
Exactly. I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Hi, buddy.
There we have him. Ken Sullivan, KS Productions. I am Cecil Lammey. And how about some word from the chat room lining up here as we got about 12 minutes left on tonight's program. And appreciate everyone for coming out again in support of Suimmortal. It is on Kickstarter right now. Suimmortal, cover A. This is done by Ty Henderson. You can see it's the Kickstarter ash can. And there's nothing left for me. Even superheroes get depressed. This is Suimmortal. So check it out on Kickstarter right now. Let me read you a little bit from the Suimmortal page here on Kickstarter. Kickstarter ash can. Again, it's 8 pages of art. And then it's 12 pages of promotional art for our other 7 IPs. Remember, we have 8 IPs in total that are hitting crowdfunding this year. We want Suimmortal to get fully funded so we can get these comics to you. Now, from Kickstarter, even superheroes get depressed. Suimmortal is the ultimate death dealer, but he cannot die himself. Cursed to live as many lives as he's taken, Suimmortal hunts criminals for sport and ratings. What if you didn't think you could die and killing was your business? The superheroes in our universe are celebrities, and Suimmortal is on the A-list because he never takes prisoners, and fans love to watch him kill. If Deadpool was deadlier and more depressed, he might be able to keep up with Suimmortal. It's a story about learning to love life through death. Suimmortal Ashcan, Kickstarter Ashcan, special cover right there for you. And only available because, okay, at SmokinGunComics.com and Chris Harp, when he's feeling better, feel better, Chris, he'll be on the show to talk about our website, SmokinGunComics.com, where you can get the 8-page version. But the 8-page is not the 20-page version. This is the Kickstarter Ashcan. This is only going to be available via Kickstarter. That's it. We do have small versions, just simple previews that people can buy. This, Suimmortal, Mike Lorenzo. This one available for the boss tier on Kickstarter. That's where you're going to find it. So make sure to go back the campaign right now. It is on Kickstarter. It is Suimmortal. He is here. And it's a kickstart for our Gravis universe. I just got the final pages of Gravis yesterday. So looking forward to that. Super excited about that as always. Now, to the chat room I go with 10 minutes left in tonight's show. Media critic, he's so mean. He says, why does the KSE periodically state publicly that their propaganda outlet is unprofitable? Is it because shitty programming like Planet X Television and Major League Fishing Cups? Well, maybe media critic, because, yeah, nobody wants to watch Planet X Television or Major League Fishing Cups. I think, oh, yes, here he goes. Is the KSE propaganda outlet relevant? And then Cecil blasting KSE is fun. That's media critic. And here in the chat room, we got the chat, Chris here laughing, as always, at media critic for blasting on poor little altitude. Poor little broke Stan Kroenke billionaire. Anyway, yeah, that's a mess, everybody. It's a mess. And, well, I don't really care. That's the bottom line with it. But anyway, appreciate everyone for coming on out and watching comic book talk with me and Mike Lorenzo for joining the program. Certainly appreciate that too as well. As we continue on in this journey, it is a big learning process. I do have an alert for everyone who backed fake booze. Fake booze is already in the hands of some people right now. The digital copy went out as soon as the campaign was done, but the physical copies have shipped. There's a couple, you see a couple behind me here on the desk that I need to get addresses from people that did not answer their survey yet, but fake booze is fulfilled, sent off, it's done, campaign fully funded. Appreciate everyone for your support. Now it's time to support Suimmortal. Please and thank you. Again, we are behind compared to what we were for fake booze, but we have about 2 weeks left, and we got about $1,300 that we need from y'all out there to get Suimmortal fully funded and to you. Again, $2,000 goal. It's a goal that Ken and I decided on of like, okay, that's a reasonable goal. It basically, doubles the money because it takes about $1,000 to produce one of these. That includes artwork costs, printing costs, etc. So, about $1,000 to make one of these. Ask for $2,000. Get the comics out there in the hands of the comic book community, and also at the same time, as my buddy in Hollywood, Mark, just texted me during the show. I'll have to text you back, Mark. I'm on the air, but like we're attacking Hollywood and comic books at the same time. So these comics will be in the hot little hands of people that work at Netflix, people that work at Universal, people that make decisions when it comes to buying and purchasing intellectual properties to make streaming shows or movies out of. There is an incredibly famous actor that, well, I'll spill the beans, that reached out to me via social networking. I don't want to give too much away, but yeah, we've got some traction, everybody. We've got some movement, and it's just cool. It's cool to be able to create, to be able to put these stories out there, and then to have comic book fans react and be so supportive. The fake booze support it just blew me away. I appreciate everybody. And then when you have major heavy hitters in Hollywood like reach out to you because of your project, you're like, oh, it's very humbling. This whole experience is incredibly humbling. So please help me as I learn and as I go through this journey of creating comic books by supporting us on Kickstarter. SmokinGunComics.com is open. I want everyone to go there right now. SmokinGunComics.com, bookmark it. Go there. We've got, again, our small ash cans are there, and they're regular comic book size. I have to explain this. An ash can is a preview. It's done for the purposes of just getting your property out there. It's a smaller version of the story. Some ash cans are actually small comics. I have like a Grimjack ash can from Killer Instinct, which you can see one of the only 200 issues that are the Demon Star gold foil cover right there of Grimjack Killer Instinct. There's only about 200 in existence, and I own almost 80 of them because I'm a collector. And yes, I want them all, but if you have one, I'll buy it from you. Anyway, so like some ash cans are smaller. That's a full-size comic, but there's actually a Killer Instinct smaller version ash can. Like, yes. So sometimes ash can means a small version, like a pamphlet type thing. And sometimes it means just a full comic, but only a preview, like an 8-page preview. I won't give too much away, but see this. This is from Upshot. They're an independent comic book company, and they have collected in their ash can. This is about 100 pages, I want to guess, something like that. And it's got previews of their stories. So this is something that I want to do with Smokin Gun, where we have our individual comics, right, where you can buy the Suimmortal Kickstarter ash can. But I also want to get to a point eventually where we have 4 of these in one trade paperback with scripts, with notes, with maybe some, doodles or something that I had, some sketches, pencil sketches, stuff like that. to make a true, collector's item of like, this is how the process was to make this comic. Here's the notes. Here's some email exchanges. Like, this is the process. Take you through the process, and you can see and read the finished product. This Fake Booze blank. This is coming to Indiegogo very, very soon. In fact, it should have been last week or 2 weeks ago. I will get to it, and I will get Fake Booze up on Indiegogo, which will have a different cover than the Kickstarter cover. So again, we're attacking crowdfunding. Suimmortal on Kickstarter. Fake Booze will be coming to Indiegogo, which will include this blank sketch cover. And yes, I am going to do some sketch covers myself. And so those will be available through the campaign. So make sure to check that out. And again, we've got a ton of ideas, comic book stands that'll be coming. That'll be coming soon. For example, here's some of the notes that I took for Suimmortal. This is Suimmortal page 1. And so I got it back from my letterer, Tim West. Shout out Tim West. And so then I was like, okay, how about we put this here? How about we put this here? And stuff like that to get, the page the way that I look. So I have that for everything. There's a sneak peek at Death Support and some of the notes from Death Support. So yeah, so put some of this kind of stuff in a behind the scenes, like trade paperback. That's a plan that I have for this company. Sketch covers, a plan that is already in place for this company. Suimmortal on Kickstarter right now, and we need your help. And we need you bosses to show up. Are you a boss? There's one super boss that will get the original watercolor of this. One, because obviously only one exists. So one super boss to help support Suimmortal. Are you that super boss? And if you are, send me a message. Support it with the super boss tier. It's a $500 tier. But with that $500 tier, you're going to get everything we offered with Suimmortal. You're going to get the Mike Lorenzo, the one and only watercolored original. The original. You will own it for the super boss. There's one of you out there. I want to meet you. I want to meet this super boss. And we could certainly use the support. We certainly appreciate the support. Suimmortal, it is on Kickstarter right now. So go there. Go to Kickstarter. Support Suimmortal. You love ninjas. This is a great ninja story. I know I love ninjas. I love Sho Kasuji. When I was a kid, right? Enter the Ninja, Revenge of the Ninja. I think it was in Ninja 3, The Domination, but that movie was a little too weird for me. It was like 80s, like horror ninja, occult, like weird. Ninja 3, The Domination was just weird. Enter the Ninja was cool. Revenge of the Ninja is my favorite. And then Ninja 3 was just like, huh? What? Huh? They were like, had the Flashdance girl in it or something, or someone that looked like the Flashdance girl. Anyway, so you love ninjas, you love Smokin Gun Comics, then you check out Suimmortal. It is on Kickstarter right now, and I'll continue doing these shows and promoting the work of everyone. Certainly shout out to Tim West for being the letterer for Smokin Gun Comics, Chris Harp, who is our web designer, marketer extraordinaire with Smokin Gun Comics, Big E, Eric Hoffman, co-founder of Smokin Gun Comics. Of course, Ken Sullivan with KS Productions, who helps me with marketing as well there. Zach Skellington Conley. Shout out Zach, as he got me the Gravis artwork. Gravis is done. Can't wait to get that to you. And that will be the one full color comic book that we have for you. These other ones are in grayscale. Full color Gravis coming to you very, very soon. Very soon. So yeah, it goes Fake Booze, Suimmortal, Death Support, Gravis, then Gun Disciplined, Ghost Gun, The Familiars, Terminally Kill. So we have 8 different IPs. You can read more about them. There's synopsis of each title at smokinguncomics.com. So go there right now, bookmark it, smokinguncomics.com. I've got a blog. So you can read and keep up with the company right there. Purchase products, support us there as well. More big plans coming from smokinguncomics.com. That is smokinguncomics.com. Again, Suimmortal is on Kickstarter. We need your help now. Support it, get it backed, get it fully funded right now. Suimmortal is on Kickstarter. I am Cecil Lammey saying thank you all for watching. Appreciate you all. Until next time, be safe, be kind, know that you are appreciated. Stay tuned. And as always, please stay frosty. And I got to play this.